What's good, y'all? Sorry for the lack of videos. Just to preface this real quick, I think I might be switching to posting videos every other week. It's just because I have a full house right now, and it's like really awkward to like be filming when people are walking in and out of my room and stuff. But anyways, so today I just kind of wanted to talk about my personal experience with creative expression. And what I mean by this is just basically, my progress with just creatively expressing myself in general. I guess just to start off, growing up, I grew up in, West Texas. That's basically the middle of nowhere. And, if you go up to someone that doesn't live in Texas and you get them to describe what Texas looks like, what they describe is pretty accurate to what West Texas is. Growing up in West Texas, there's not a lot of inspiration creatively, and for most of my life I played sports. That's what my life had revolved around. From literally preschool to my junior year of high school, I played sports, and that's the only, I guess, outlet for me to express myself that I had was sports. And so fast forward to 2018, I had moved from West Texas to a little bit closer to Dallas. And, that move was probably one of the toughest moments of my life because, I'm not, I find comfort in no change. And, whenever you move from a small town to a big city, that's a huge change, and it shocked me for a while. And moving from that move had really changed my perspective. And you could be so comfortable, and whatever God has for you, it could change just like that. And but looking back on it, it was for the greater good. But anyways, that after that move, I didn't have I my friends were several hours away. All I had was family at the time, and no way to express how I felt. And you know, I was stuck in that rut for a really long time. I I wasn't like artistic. And, I couldn't draw, paint, whatever. And I was really trying to find some way somehow that I could just express myself. And you know, and I realized that like 18, you know, growing up and you're a senior in high school, you see all these people that know how to dress, can are really good with art, and are good at these other things. And then see, that's what I mean. But anyways, you have all these people that know how to express themselves, and then at 18 I realized that like I didn't have that. I didn't have any way to express how I felt at any time. One thing that I did know is that the city did have a lot of opportunities, and I was able to observe the opportunities that other people had gotten. And I wanted those opportunities that were given to others, but I had really had to go out and find those opportunities for myself. And so this was when I really started to just be more observant. And one thing that had interested me at the time was clothing. You know, again, I was a senior in high school, and I saw a lot more Jordans, a lot more Yeezys, things that I had never seen when I was living in West Texas. That really interested me. So one day I just go home, do research, and from that point on, I finally felt like I had seen something that I felt like that I could do to really express just express myself. And, so from about 18 to, like 21, 22, that's when I start, buying latest Jordans, buying, at the time cargos were pretty popular. So I had a lot of cargos and, graphic t-shirts. And, this is where my, I guess, sense of style started to evolve a little bit. I move on from, the basketball shorts and Nike shirts to the graphic tees and cargo pants. And it was awesome. I loved being able to, I guess, just buy those things and just to creatively like express myself through clothes. And like I know it's just like streetwear, but personally for me it felt like this was finally something that I found interest in. And I had a job and I had access to money, and I was able to just buy clothes that I felt would look nice on me. And so fast forward a little bit later, I guess to a couple years back, whenever I start college. Sorry, whenever I start a 4-year college. Around that time was when I had started to gain interest in photography. And this, I felt like, was, I guess, kind of the golden ticket for me. Because on TikTok and Instagram, you see people can become really creative with photos and videos. And I felt like that was something that I could do. Sorry if I'm just sniffing, bro. My allergies are going through it. But anyways, so I purchased my first camera, and then I just go all out. I don't know if I can try and put up some examples from my first camera. I'll try it, but I really enjoyed having a camera in my hand, and I don't think I could ever express like how just awesome it was to have some sort of just creative outlet for myself. Because from like 19 to now was when I realized the opportunities for me to creatively express myself. I go my whole life, my life has revolved around sports and going to practice and school and whatnot. And then later on, it's just when I learned that these creative outlets could open up more opportunities for myself, excuse me. And I go to car meets. I take my camera wherever I can take it with me, and I'm just taking photos of whatever, and it just felt good. It felt good to just be able to have something in my hand that I could use to express myself. And I really think about how my interest grew, from whenever I first started finding enjoyment in creative expression. I go back, I go from wanting to express myself with clothes, and then now, I have a camera, I got an upgrade, and I don't think, honestly, I don't think I would be in a good place if I didn't have these things. As weird as that like may sound, I really don't, because after that move, I was in like such a tough spot. And I know it's like several years later, but like I had mentioned, I'm really hesitant to change, and I find comfort in just where I am. And after that, I was in the rut for sure. And so going out and being able to find different avenues of ways to express myself, it really helped me out a lot. And I began to see fulfillment in expressing myself through these creative outlets. And I love, I can't express it enough. I love taking my camera everywhere with me. Like I said, I can try to show some examples, but, and even today, I'm still trying to find other things that I can find to express myself, and it doesn't even have to be some sort of just creative expression, just some way to express myself because, like, solely because I didn't have that when I was younger. I don't know if this is just me like making up for what I didn't have or what I couldn't do, but it's been nice to look back and to see how I've been trying to just express myself. It's been nothing short of just amazing. I'm glad that God has really gifted me and blessed me with just these things that I have. I forget the PC too. I've been looking into like video editing, more short form content as well, but that's probably later. I'm blessed for sure. And like I said, I'm looking for more ways and finding more outlets that I can really anything that I can try my hand at. I think that might be it. I After the end of recording each video, I always say like this is a short video, but I'm recording for almost about 15 minutes. So just to summarize it all up, now like I just really enjoy trying to find different outlets just to express myself, and obviously like I've said multiple times in this video, I really didn't have that growing up, and it's not like at the fault of anyone. Like no one. It wasn't up to anyone to go up to me and like hey, you should try this, you should try that. But it was really on myself to just go out and just try these things personally for myself. And I'm glad that I really took the time to just invest in myself a little bit, and to just go out and just do things that I love. So yeah, but that's gonna be it for today. I thought I had something to say after that, but I don't. So I hope y'all enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.